to be spoken to by one who desires self-purification. I cannot remain silent in this regard, for a personality like you is just fit to be spoken to by one who desires self-purification. Purport: a saintly person does not wish to speak to anyone and everyone, and he is therefore grave and silent. Generally, a common man does not need to be advised. Unless one is prepared to take instructions, it is said that a saintly person should not address him. Although sometimes, because of great kindness, a saintly person speaks to ordinary man. As for Prahlad Maharaj, however, since he was not a common ordinary man, whatever questions he posed would have to be answered, even by a great and exalted personality. As for Prahlad Maharaj, however, since he was not a common ordinary man, whatever questions he posed would have to be answered even by a great and exalted personality. Therefore, the saintly Brahmana did not remain silent, but began to answer. These answers, however, were not concocted by him. This is indicated by the words yatha shrutam, meaning, as I have heard from the authorities. In the parampara system, when the questions are bona fide, the answers are bona fide. No one should attempt to create or manufacture answers. One must refer to the Shastras and give answers according to Vedic understanding. The words yatha shrutam refer to Vedic knowledge. The Vedas are known as Shruti because this knowledge is received from authorities. The statements of the Vedas are known as Shruti Praman. One should quote evidence from the Shruti, the Vedas or Vedic literature, and then one's statements will be correct. Otherwise, one's words will proceed from mental concoction. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishwanamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyadadeshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishvanebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So this is 7th canto, chapter 13th and verse number 23rd. So you can repeat after me. My dear King, although you know everything, you have posed some questions which I shall try to answer according to what I have learned by hearing from authorities. I cannot remain silent in this regard. For a personality like you It's just fit to be spoken
just fit to be spoken
to by one
by one
who desires
who desires
self-purification.
purification.
Yes. So some questions were asked by Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj asked this question. Yeah, he asked him that, "My dear sir, you undergo no endeavor to earn your livelihood, but you have a stout body, exactly like that of a materialistic enjoyer. I know that if one is very rich and has nothing to do, he becomes extremely fat by eating and sleeping and performing no work." So even though he was not doing any effort for earning his livelihood, but he was still stout. So this was first question. And then he says, "O Brahmana, fully in knowledge and transcendence, you have nothing to do, and therefore you are lying down. It is also understood that you have no money for sense enjoyment. How then has your body become so fat? Under the circumstances, if you do not consider my question impudent, kindly explain how this has happened. Your honor appears learned, expert, and intelligent in every way. You can speak very well, saying things that are pleasing to the heart. You see that people in general are engaged in fruitive activities, yet you are lying here inactive." When the saintly person was thus questioned by Prahlad Maharaj, the king of the Daityas, he was captivated by this shower of nectarian words, and he replied to the inquisitiveness of Prahlad Maharaj with a smiling face. The saintly Brahmana said, "O best of the Asuras, Prahlad Maharaj, who are recognized by advanced and civilized men, you are aware of the different stages of life because of your inherent transcendental eyes, with which you can see a man's character and thus know clearly the results of acceptance and rejection of things as they are. Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full of all opulences, is predominant within the core of your heart because of your being a pure devotee. He always drives away all the darkness of ignorance as the sun drives away the darkness of the universe." So now this Avaduta Brahmana, who is having Ajigar with the saintly Brahmana. So he's is replying now, and he will very nicely explains that how he has given up all varieties of efforts for material enjoyment, any kinds of fruitive activities, because he says further that because of insatiable material desires, I was being carried away by the waves of material nature's laws. Thus, I was engaging in different activities, struggling for existence in various forms of life. In the course of evolutionary process, which is caused by fruitive activities due to undesirable material sense gratification, I have received this human form of life, which can lead to heavenly planets, to liberation, to the lower species, or to rebirth among human beings." Then is very important verse. It says, "In this human form of life, man and woman unite for the sensual pleasure of sex, but by actual experience we have observed that none of them are happy. Therefore, seeing the contrary results, I have stopped taking part in materialistic activities." The actual form of life for the living entities is one of spiritual happiness, which is real happiness. This happiness can be achieved only when one stops all materialistic activities. Material sense enjoyment is simply imagination. Therefore, considering this subject matter, I have ceased from all material activities and am lying down here. In this way, the conditioned soul living within the body forgets his self-interest because he identifies himself with the body. Because the body is material, his natural tendency is to be attracted by varieties of the material world. Thus, the living entity suffers the miseries of material existence. So just as a deer, because of ignorance, cannot see the water within a well covered by grass, but runs after water elsewhere, the living entity covered by material body does not see the happiness within himself, but runs after happiness in the material world. The living entity tries to achieve happiness and rid himself of the causes of distress, but because the various bodies of the living entities are under the full control of material nature, all his plans in different bodies, one after another, are ultimately baffled. So materialistic activities are always mixed with three kinds of miserable conditions: adhyatmic, adhidaivik, and adhibhautik. Therefore, even if one achieves some success by performing such activities, what is the benefit of this success? One is still subjected to birth, death, old age, and disease, and reactions of his fruitive activities. The Brahmana continued, "I am actually seeing how a rich man, who is a victim of his senses, is very greedy to accumulate wealth, and therefore suffers from insomnia due to fear from all sides, despite his wealth and opulence. Those who are considered materially powerful and rich are always full of anxieties because of governmental laws. Thieves and rogues and enemies, family members, animals, birds, persons seeking charity, and an inevitable time factor, and even their own selves. Thus, they are invariably afraid. Those in human society who are intelligent should give up the original cause of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, attachment, poverty, and unnecessary labor. The original cause of all this is the desire for unnecessary prestige and money. The bee and python are two excellent spiritual masters who give us exemplary instructions regarding how to be satisfied by collecting only a little and how to stay in one place and not move. From the bumblebee, I have learned to be unattached to accumulating money. And for although money is as good as honey, anyone can kill its owner and take it away. I do not endeavor to get anything, but I am satisfied with whatever is achieved in its own way. I do not get anything. If I do not get anything, I am patient and unagitated like a python and lie down in this way for many days. Sometimes I eat very small quantity and sometimes a great quantity. Sometimes the food is very palatable, sometimes it is stale. Sometimes prasad is offered with great respect and sometimes food is given neglectfully. Sometimes I eat during the day and sometimes at night. Thus I eat what is easily available. A mighty lifestyle. To cover my body, I use whatever is available. Whether it be linen, silk, cotton, bark, or deer skin. According to my destiny, I am fully satisfied and unagitated. Sometimes I lie on the surface of the earth, sometimes on leaves, grass, or a stone, sometimes on a pile of ashes, or sometimes by the will of others, in a palace on a first-class bed with pillows. O my Lord, sometimes I bathe myself very nicely, smear sandalwood pulp all over my body, put on a full flower garland, and dress in fine garments and ornaments. Then I travel like a king on the back of an elephant, or on a chariot or a horse. Sometimes, however, I travel naked, like a person haunted by ghosts. Different people are of different mentalities. Therefore, it is not my business either to praise them or to blaspheme them. I only desire their welfare, hoping that they will agree to become one with the super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. God is Krishna. The mental concoction of discrimination between good and bad should be accepted as one unit and then invested in the mind, which should then be invested in the false ego. The false ego should be invested in the total matter energy. This is the process of fighting false discrimination. A learned, thoughtful person must realize that material existence is illusion. This is possible only by self-realization. A self-realized person who has actually seen the truth should retire from all material activities, being situated in self-realization. Prahlad Maharaj, you are certainly a self-realized soul and a devotee of the Supreme Lord. You do not care for public opinion or so-called scriptures. For this reason, I have described to you without hesitation the history of my self-realization. Narad Muni continued, after Prahlad Maharaj, the king of the demons, heard these instructions from the saint, he understood the occupational duties of a perfect person, Paramahamsa. Thus he duly worshipped the saint. Took his permission, then left for his own home. So it's very nice chapter, very wonderful instructions coming ahead. So we just read the translations of them. So today's verse is saying, my dear king, although you know everything, you have posed some questions which I shall try to answer according to what I have learned by hearing from authorities. I cannot remain silent in this regard, for a personality like you is just fit to be spoken to by one who desires self-purification. So you can see the importance of question and answer. Here, Prahlad Maharaj is a bona fide devotee of the Lord. And we see from the realization of this saintly Brahmana that he is also not an ordinary soul. He is also a very greatly realized Brahmana. So both of them are, self-realized souls actually. And you can see when the question and answers are there between such kind of great souls, the whole world can get benefited. And you can see here, from this answers of the Brahmana and questions posed by Prahlad Maharaj, from generations, all the people will get benefited. So, Srila Prabhupada writes, in one of the purport that how everybody is busy in asking questions and getting some answers. This is what is happening. This whole world is like this only. In every domain of life, it's just question and answer. That's what is going on. But when we have right kind of inquiry to the right kind of person, that actually is so auspicious, because that can bring the real path for perfection when such kind of inquiries are put to a bona fide devotee. So one should be a bona fide inquirer. So inquiry should be bona fide to a bona fide person. So Sri Prabhupada writes in another book I was reading, On the Way to Krishna, Krishna Consciousness is the topmost yoga system. Prabhupada says that everybody is inquiring. So when we are inquiring, we always search for some bona fide person in any domain of life. Like say you're inquiring about right now what is the job situation. So you'll try to find out some authentic source to find out. Or you're inquiring about the visa, then you find some authentic source. You're inquiring about the flight. No, if you have to go to India, you have to go to some authority, some bona fide source. So we have inquiries, and then those inquiries should be put to bona fide person. That's very important. And here Prabhupada writes about who is that bona fide person. The bona fide person is one who does not tell his own opinion, who does not say, okay, as per me, this is what you should be doing. No. So bona fide person, he is actually, he quotes from the scriptures. No? He should quote evidence from the Shruti, the Vedas or Vedic literature. That is his responsibility. That's how he becomes bona fide. So Prabhupada said that anybody who is following the Shastras and repeating the message is a bona fide. So Prabhupada says sometimes that I may not be perfect, but I am following perfect. So take my word, this is perfect. No? So this is very important that we repeat the scriptures as it is. And that's how it will truly benefit anyone who has come to us to ask any question. So that's why it's very important that we quote from scriptures. Prabhupada said our devotee should be like a lawyer, should be able to quote the scriptures. Whatever we speak is actually should be backed up with the scriptures. We are not trying to concoct anything. So otherwise, everybody in this world is speculating. It's called speculative knowledge. So whatever people are giving answers to so many questions, it's all speculative knowledge, like that. Like there was one very great celebrity, so I don't know the name, but she asked one of the current New Age guru. He has many millions of followers. You know him. I'm not taking the name. So she asked that question that what happens after death? It's a good question actually, quite sincere question. What happens after death? So, and this Guruji, he smiled, and he said, don't worry about death. Just be happy in present. Like that, and he completely overlooked the question, which was actually could have brought so much of wisdom from any bona fide person, right? But he just said that, just be happy, be good. Some this kind of wishy-washy answer he gave, without even touching the, concept of transmigration of the soul and the cycle of birth and death, how the living entity is trapped in, and the ultimate goal of life. Nothing was touched. So, if any new devotee in our ISKCON also, if he is posed this question, he will be so happy to answer this elaborately. Very nicely he'll answer. So, and that could become actually, for that person to take seriously Krishna consciousness, and can become that can be like a milestone in his life, a U-turn in his life. But you see, because that was not a bona fide person, so that though the inquiry was good, but what is the result? That the person who had done some kind of sincere inquiry, he did not get the right kind of knowledge, right kind of guidance, and the material life will continue. And this person, who is a bona fide, he's not a bona fide guru, he's actually held responsible, because somebody has come to ask question. He could have said, I don't know, that could have been better. But what did he say? He said some answer based on his speculation. So that is very bad. So that's why Ishopanishad says that those who are in ignorance, so they are going to dark destinations. But those who are cultivating knowledge, they'll go to further darkness. So what kind of knowledge? Speculative knowledge actually. So Prabhupada there writes about Vedavadarata, those who are so-called learned Vedic followers, and they do a lot of rituals and have their own so much of speculative knowledge. They interpret the Vedas very nicely. And the second category about Maya Pratagyana, he says about Mayavadis also, that how they want to become one with God. And they also will quote the scriptures and all that. So so that, and in the today's world, there are so many people like that. People just do word jugglery, very charismatically they'll speak, and they'll attract the masses, without giving them the right answers. So we may not have to become very, charismatic like them. If you are, it's good. But more important thing is that we give the right answer, from the scriptures. That is the very important thing. Like if you see Srila Prabhupada was not like, in terms of, in the worldly terms, like very charismatic, You understand, no? It's not like, he's having that kind of externally very influential, glamorous, charismatic, classes. I don't know, glamorous is not the right word, charismatic, is the right word. So he's not having that kind of, he's very simple, way Prabhupada would speak in a Bengali, but accent would be heavy with Bengali accent also. And he's speaking, sometimes Western people may not able to understand, catch it also in the beginning, Like when Prabhupada said, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to save the world. Then somebody asked, Prabhupada, save the world or shave the world? Save everyone or shave everyone? So Prabhupada said, both. Save and shave both. That's what he said. So now, when Prabhupada is speaking, it's kind of, having a lot of heavy Bengali accent, but because Prabhupada was very thoroughly honest, he had not come here to, tell his own opinion, his own speculative ideas. Prabhupada very honestly just, told what is there in the scriptures, And because he was so honest, and he was just sharing the wisdom of the scriptures, very transparently, repeating the words of the acharyas, we can see it had impact. All these people, they could actually understand Prabhupada eventually. Even though they were not able to understand maybe in the beginning, because of the Bengali accent, and maybe they may not be familiar with the terms or whatever. But because Prabhupada presented it with such purity, such transparency, honesty, these words of the Vedas and Acharyas, then they could actually understand. Like it had impact. His great Sankarshan Adhikari Prabhu's book, I think it is there, Truth Works. Truth works. So if you are truthful to repeat the message as it is from the scriptures, it will have impact, like that. So otherwise, there are volumes and volumes of speculative knowledge. People keep speaking so much of content, but because it is speculative knowledge, so it may so-called, impress the mind of so many people. So many masses may come, following that person, but it does not lead to any tangible benefit to them, because their heart remains same. It doesn't get transformed. But some grain of truth, is actually much powerful. That can transform the person beyond all these external coverings and all that. So that's why it is so important that the person who is trying to represent the religion or absolute truth should be thoroughly honest to repeat the scriptures as it is. Then only it is beneficial. So Prabhupada is saying here that the words yatha shrutam. So here the saintly Brahmana, he is referring, whatever he is speaking is referring to the Shastras. So he says, Prabhupada says that in the Parampara system, when the questions are bona fide, the answers are bona fide. No one should attempt to create or manufacture answers. One must refer to the Shastras and give answers according to Vedic understanding. The words yatha shrutam refer to Vedic knowledge. The Vedas are known as Shruti because this knowledge is received from authorities. The statements of the Vedas are known as Shruti Praman. So one should quote evidence from the Shruti, the Vedas or Vedic literature, and then one's statement will be correct. Otherwise, one's word will proceed from mental concoction. So these two bad habits Jiva has. One habit is that he goes for fruitive activities. He thinks that by fruitive actions I'll become happy, getting some material gain. And that is one thing he does. And when he starts seeing that he's getting baffled in his endeavor, then he starts speculating alternatively. Of course, both are speculation only. The first speculation, he thinks that by material happiness he'll become happy. And then when he so-called understands that how this all endeavor to become materially happy is getting baffled, frustrated, then they take the path of speculative knowledge. Typically we call it Gyani. They become Gyani, and then that's how they started speculating, without actually taking shelter of the scriptures, without actually taking shelter of a bona fide acharya. So that's why they keep speculating and they never come to the right understanding. Until unless they meet a bona fide devotee who can address the the inquiries what they have, questions they have, from the right sources, like that. And another thing what Prabhupada is saying in this purport, that a saintly person does not wish to speak to anyone and everyone, and he is therefore grave and silent. So it is generally, that's Prabhupada is saying, it's a general general rule that generally a saintly person will not speak unnecessarily to anybody. Like in third chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says that those are engaged in their materialistic work, fruitive work. So the person who is self-realized, the person who is in knowledge, may not disturb them. Like that. So the saintly person continues, his devotional service, his path, and he may not be in general trying to speak to anyone and everyone, and he continues his devotional progress like that. That's a general norm, saintly person may do. But Prabhupada writes in that purport, but devotees of the Lord are more merciful by the mercy of the Lord. And that's why they understand the intent of the Lord and they actually try to propagate the message. Prabhupada additionally adds this in the purport itself. That understanding the intention of the Lord, devotees of the Lord will actually take up the preaching work. And they take the risk of telling the message of Lord to even those people who are not even interested. Sometimes they may become very disturbed. Sometimes they may want to attack also. But they take that risk. Because these people potentially may create disturbance. But saintly person may take that risk by understanding the intention of the Lord. But otherwise, he is not interested. He is not interested in wasting his time in speaking to people in general, because they may not pay any value to them. I mean, they not pay any kind of attention to those sublime words. It will just go in vain like that. But as we say, that Prabhupada clarified, telling that but the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not that we just remain absorbed in our devotional service and follow this norm, which could be followed until if there are situations where there is really threat to ISKCON's reputation or something like that. One can be calculative in that sense. But the general, the mood of the acharyas, coming in, especially in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, we see that the mood is to actually see that how we can administer Krishna conscious, tactfully, not like unnecessarily we bring some kind of troubles to ISKCON or devotees, but tactfully one can think, tax his brain, how one can spread this message. That is important. So he says that common man does not need to be advised. Unless one is prepared to take instructions, it is said that a saintly person should not address him. Although sometimes because of great kindness, a saintly person speaks to ordinary men. That's what the Prabhupada is saying. So out of great kindness, he may speak to the ordinary man. So that point is that of compassion. The devotees of the Lord they will also extend to give this message to common men for their benefit, like that. So otherwise they may remain grave and silent. So Srila Prabhupada also, if you see, he was always very much eager to talk to many scientists and philosophers. You'd ask, what is your thoughts, what are your philosophy? Prabhupada would have good debate and good talk like that. So Prabhupada was always speaking, and always talking to new people, scientists. So because again, it's a compassion. Though the norm is saintly person may not be so much interested, but why Prabhupada is doing it? Because he captures the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jare dekho tare kaha Krishna Patesh. Because if devotees don't open the mouth, then the whole world have no other source to actually get the right knowledge. So devotees are the only people who should speak. All other fellows should keep quiet. Because they don't know. So, so many new age gurus and all, so much of content, so much they speak. So sometimes it is like people sometimes they go to YouTube and all that, but there's so much of other contents. The people may not get the right understanding, get lost. Even they want to have some kind of a spiritual interest also. That's why Gaurang Prabhu encourages a lot, that devotees should put content, they should make content and put it, like that. Of course, with caution, under the guidance of superiors, one can do that. But it's important for devotees to actually speak. It's important. So, and even if you're not able to speak, we have something to always give, that is Srila Prabhupada books. Even if you're not, even if we feel that we are a bit shy and all, at least that much we should be able to give some book to a person. Because, okay, we may just say that we can read this. It's a nice book, has a lot wonderful, wisdom. So maybe the person may read the book and can also become devotee. He will become interested in Krishna consciousness. His inquiries will get addressed through that book as well. So Prabhupada wanted that, that we, as soon as we learned a little bit about Krishna consciousness, we should be eager to share it. Prabhupada said that you learn 2 lines and then speak 2 lines. This is how. So this is Prabhupada wanted everybody to speak about Krishna. So once the discussion of Jat Bharat was going on in Pune in one of the Bhagavatam class. Then the devotee was explaining about it, and then Raja Shambhu clarified at the end. He said, the Jat Bharat example is very good to understand how one should remain very much alert while dealing with Maya, because this world is very dangerous. One can get trapped. So that in principally we should take that message, that how one should be very play safe in this world. And because Jat Bharat was so cautious. Very cautious. He was not at all wanting to get caught by Maya. So that is very good in principle. That is what devotee should follow that. But we cannot imitate Jat Bharat like not speaking to anybody. We have philosophy first dress then address. Prabhupada said we should be like a perfect gentleman in the eyes of the world also. We may also put proper dress and tilak. And we can follow etiquettes. We may not imitate Jat Bharat and be in the world like that, because the mood is to preach. So Prabhupada wanted us to be in Goshananda, Goshanandi, that people, devotees should spread this message. It's very important. So Raja was clarifying that how, but we cannot imitate, so we have to actually speak. We have to actually, distribute this message. So we do everything by which we are able to spread this message. That's very important for us. And if there is no much like opportunity, and if situation is very unfavorable and no much opportunity, the devotee may be just doing his devotional service very strongly. He'll go on. So there is no obstruction in his own practice of devotional service. But as soon as there is an opportunity, devotee is always willing to extend and give this message. That's the mood of Srila Prabhupada. So I was recently to Saransh Prabhu, I was telling that Prabhu should speak. So when he spoke for almost 20 minutes here in the temple hall, he was so ecstatic. He just came to me and said, Prabhu, I can speak maybe more. He was thinking, once in a week I can do that. Prabhu, once I get the interview and all that, the job is done, I will do that. So actually, immediately he got some, and he told that, Prabhu, by explaining I would understand better. And Prabhupada writes also in first canto in purport, by reading and explaining, one can actually assimilate the knowledge properly. It's very nice. First canto he says this. I can exactly read for you. Yeah. He says, to hear and explain. So first he says the Acharya or Goswami must be well acquainted with all Vedic literatures. To hear and explain them is more important than reading them. One can assimilate the knowledge of the revealed scriptures only by hearing and explaining. Hearing is called Shravana and explaining is called Kirtana. The two processes of Shravana and Kirtana are of primary importance to progressive spiritual life. So only one who has properly grasped the transcendental knowledge from the right source by submissive hearing can properly explain the subject. So we hear and then we explain. Both is important. Everybody has to do that, and then only you can properly assimilate the knowledge of the revealed scriptures. No? So that is the part of service which you have to do, explaining. That's a seva. No, tad vidhi panipadena pariprashnena sevaya. That service when you render by giving that message to others, then we also assimilate that knowledge. We get more blessings of transcendental knowledge, like that. And you can see this whole Bhagavatam is like that only. Whole Bhagavatam is as here, there's a question and answer. Prahlad Maharaj is asking question and the saintly Brahmana is answering. So you see the whole Bhagavatam is like that. They're all question and answers. Maitreya Muni and Vidur ji also are having conversations. Then here Narad Muni, the Shri Maharaj actually is having conversation like that. So it's all a lot of conversation, and they're all very great Vaishnavas. They are having these conversations, and so that's why he's saying bona fide inquirer and bona fide devotee. And because we have that opportunity to have the bona fide knowledge, so now there may not be people who are, you may be thinking that okay, there's not much bona fide inquiry coming to me. No, but there are people. The people have their, we can make them to be a bona fide inquirer also. So this is how a saintly personality, like Srila Prabhupada when you'd go, so Prabhupada would present the Krishna conscious philosophy in a way that people would get genuine questions. And then Prabhupada would address them also, like that. Like when he met Amrish Prabhu, Alfred Ford, then he asked, where is Mr. Henry Ford now? So this one line actually brought the inquiry, yes, what happens after death? Because all my wealth is there, everything is there, but Henry Ford is gone, so maybe my wealth also. So he immediately started, getting that understanding. I mean, he was getting that understanding that yes, it's temporary, and then it actually induces further inquiries. You can see that. So the influence of a saintly person, one may get genuine inquiry. You can see in the case of Mrigari also. When Narada Muni came and met Mrigari, so Mrigari did not have any inquiry about spiritual life or something. He was busy in his affair. But because of the influence of Narada Muni, because Narada Muni told is if you kill them fully, then it is less sinful, and you kill them half, then it is more sinful. Then he started inquiring, what is sinful and what is not sinful, and then he started asking, then what is the solution? Then how can I be free from all this, plight? Then Narada Muni says, okay, you chant Hare Krishna, break your vow, and then everything came up like that. So this is the power of bona fide devotee. So Prabhupada is saying here that bona fide inquiry and bona fide devotee, then everything becomes wonderful, auspicious. But the point is, even the world may not be so much trying to inquire in a bona fide way. They're only inquiring about eating, sleeping, betting, defending. But a devotee who are hearing, from bona fide source, they can go in the world, and by their influence, people will start inquiring properly also. And then they can be given the right message, and that's how they can be benefited also. So we don't have to wait that, only if I get some bona fide inquiry, I'm going to answer. Actually, our devotees are outgoing. They will interact and they will induce the bona fide inquiry from the person. He'll make them inquire. Of course, some people may not be so much interested, so we may have to be like strategic to see that we don't waste time when people are not so much ready. But we can always give chance to people. Like Vaisheshika Maharaj says that jivas are open. Just by their externals, we don't judge them. We can at least check their pulse. If they're a little bit also okay, we can do something. If they're not so interested, we can at least just, with sweet words, we can say that please come to temple again or something like that. But the point is, a devotee cannot, devotees should speak because they only can truly benefit because they have something valuable to share, like that. So I'll pause here. If anybody has any comment, reflection, you can. Any reflection or comment?
That point you said about first the people are like they want two things that they do not know that this material world will not give happiness, but when they run after material things and when they get frustrated, then they start speculating, and that both is wrong. Like speculation life experiences at very young age. So, relating about money, women, and then they get frustrated also with all those things. And then they run to social media, and where all speculation is there. Like all the speculative ideas are there, and then they form their own kind of philosophy, and then they put also that philosophy as influencers on social media, and then they try to influence other people. So it's like kind of circle, and no one knows what's the idea, why they are like suffering, or what's the actual thing. So then in the later part, then you said that Gaurang Prabhu also says that you should put content. So it is actually true, because and devotees should become somewhere like more influencers also, under the guidance of Guru. So because social media has so much influence on the young people. So instead of just blaming the social media, we can use it very properly to influence people, because if they get the idea that why they are actually going through all these things, then somewhere they'll try to reflect, which is happening. But I also personally feel that we should do more. And the senior devotees, they can do more. Yeah, that was it.
Correct. Yes. We need more and more preachers. So Rajashambhu always goes and he sees this only. Who can become trained as a preacher? So he's very, very focused. Immediately he'll see this person can be a very powerful preacher. He's seeing only the devotee with the vision of how he's able to spread the message. It's very nice. Srila Prabhupada also like that. He was very young devotees, but he would say that you preach. Prabhupada, what do you know? Whatever you learned, you don't know Krishna, the Supreme Mother Godhead. Go and preach now. It is like that. So this is the mood of Srila Prabhupada actually. So early ISKCON, when they were becoming devotees, they were just thrown, go for book distribution, and preach, open centers. So they were just like empowered. So Rajashambhu says sometimes, the counselor and counselee, counselee has so many issues, and counselor is giving hours and hours, how to control lust, how to control greed, how to deal with this, deal with that. And counselor also is frustrated, and counselee also not satisfied. Problem also continues. He says both of them should go and distribute books. And go and open some more preaching programs and do something, So sometimes we become so much, absorbed in our own way. How I can progress, how can I progress? So that is good to think, but we have to know, Srila Prabhupada has given the road map. So everybody is accountable in ISKCON, nobody is independent. So we have our, senior Vaishnavas for taking guidance. And we have our sadhana program. Morning program is there. Prabhupada is so powerfully instituted. Morning program has to be there. One should be very strict with morning program. Prabhupada has told that. One should be very strict with chanting 16 rounds. One should be very strict with following 4 principles. So Prabhupada has laid down the entire thing. And then one should go out and preach. Prabhupada has told that. Manage the temple, do preaching. And this is how he has clearly told. So one should just stick to the Acharya, then one will be able to nicely progress. But if you only keep thinking, I have to, then what happens? So much speculation happens. Then somebody will think, okay, I'll go to Radha Kund. I have to get some more realizations now. I have to purify my heart. So purifying my heart, I have to chant, 108 rounds or 164 rounds, whatever. And I'll go to Radha Kund. And I'll meet some Babaji, I'll get that. So many things are there. And the devotees are getting trapped also by that. So it's because when we don't stick what Acharya is telling, when you're not wanting to know that roadmap, whether we're trying to speculate our roadmap, this becomes challenge then. We get distracted that way. Even if you're getting speculation, better to check with some superiors, and somebody should be there under whom we should follow. Within Krishna consciousness, we will speculate a lot. So accountability will help us. We don't unnecessarily imbalance our life. Like suppose somebody is preaching so much, in the name of compromising morning program. That is also not proper. Like when some devotee may say, I am doing so much of preaching, then morning program is good. So then the superiors will catch our ear. Okay, what? You are preaching, but where is your morning program? So there's a balance for sure. But the thing is, one should not be speculating how you make advancement. It's not a subject of speculation. It's about asking the bona fide devotees and then following the roadmap. Then it becomes easy. But if we start speculating about our own progress also, it becomes challenging like that. That way. So when we are just how to solve problems, how to do, we follow the process, then things can become right. This is what my simple understanding. I mean, there are many things.
Like,
Yeah.
I've seen like some of our like some devotees and some new boys. They are more like they sometimes feel more aligned or attracted to like other acharyas. So that kind of influence, what do you think?
Other acharyas means?
Like maybe some other acharya in other sampradaya, or
Mm.
maybe some acharya in Vrindavan, whoever they may be. So like that kind of influence, what do you think about it?
If somebody is a bona fide acharya in some other sampradaya, and he's in ISKCON also. He's in ISKCON?
No.
He's not in ISKCON?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he's attracted to some, maybe say Ramana acharya or somebody
Oh,
like
sorry, I thought you were talking about acharya. Yeah, he's in ISKCON. The student is in ISKCON.
that. He can meet some senior devotee and seek guidance, I say. Because it depends. It depends. If somebody has a genuine interest in some other sampradaya and he's, I mean...
Like these acharyas, they, as Prabhu said, they're very active on social platforms.
No, so when you say acharya, I mean, you have to clarify what do you mean. Because sometimes people may not be acharya, they may be some new age guru.
They call them Baba, so...
Yeah, that's very careful. You have to be very careful. Yeah. That's why some senior devotee should take guidance. At least he should not try to, have his own course of life. Like there were some ISKCON devotees also, I think. They were coming to ISKCON, it seems. They went to Vrindavan and from some so-called Babaji, he got initiated. No, they were like getting trained and they went there and they got initiated also. He got influenced because these people sometimes forcefully get it also. Because once they initiate you, then you cannot go away. So they may do that sometimes. So you have to be careful. No? So one should be very much guided. There can be a scope of somebody maybe attracted to a bona fide sampradaya in some line. No? That is a different thing. That also is a very delicate matter. One can seek guidance from some senior Vaishnava and accordingly take care. But what I'm saying is that there are many people who are there to just, get their followers, and they may have some way to, tell things like, I'm going to give you some kind of siddha prana, some kind of mantra by which you can get higher rasa, or things like that. There are many people like that. So that could be a problem, actually. That day he was saying, one person he shared in the Bhagavatam class. He also got a call. You come, no? By that you'll get higher realizations. No, he was calling him also. So many people are getting trapped that way. So these things are, very dangerous sometimes. You have to be careful. One thing we have to recognize first is about what is position of Prabhupada. No? One can deeply understand Prabhupada and Prabhupada books, then he can decide. We can recommend him. You read Prabhupada books and then you decide. We can, and seek guidance from some senior devotee instead of getting so much carried away. One devotee was arguing with me so much, he was saying that in ISKCON there are no, whether Raganuga Bhakta, I have to follow Raganuga Bhakti. He's already Brahmachari in Pune, it's PTC. So and I was like, what about your spiritual master? Is he not Raganuga Bhakta? He is also, he's follower of Prabhupada. Prabhupada is Raganuga Bhakta. So he was not getting the point. I don't know why. So he was saying that no, we need something higher, we need and all that. So it is sometimes very tricky. Prabhupada has clearly told, we have Vedi Sadhana Bhakti and we are following under the bona fide gurus. They are following. And Prabhupada is Raganuga Bhakta. Bhakti Jana, they are not. They have their Swarupa in the spiritual world. They are following their line only. So what is the problem? So we have to be very careful. Because these things can be very lucrative and it can distract one. That's why it's very important that we give people, Prabhupada books and let people know about Prabhupada, his position and everything. And then if they have good guidance of seniors, then they can go through, they can nicely progress. So people don't read Prabhupada books much. And then they want to advance. And then what happens? Speculation. This will happen. They will not hear their spiritual master regularly. They will not read Prabhupada books. And then they want to make a lot of advancement. Then their shortcuts will be very attractive. Then they can easily get trapped by all this, Babaji and this and that. So many things are there. So be very careful. Okay, Hari Bol. Prabhu, you want to say something? Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.